Imagine this. You step into a lab, or maybe just stumble across an old, mysterious door in your own home, and without any warning, you open it. Beyond it is a world exactly like ours, yet not. A parallel universe, where everything is familiar, but there are slight differences. Maybe in this world, you never dropped that ice cream cone as a kid. Maybe in this universe, there's a version of you living out a completely different life, making different choices. But one thing's for sure, this isn't just a dream. You've just opened a portal to a parallel universe. What happens next? The idea of parallel universes has fascinated people for centuries, from science fiction stories to cutting-edge quantum physics. We've all wondered, what if there's another version of me out there? What if everything I did had an alternate outcome in another universe? But what if we could actually open a portal to one of those alternate realities? What would happen if we could step across that threshold into a world that seems so familiar, but isn't? The concept of parallel universes or the multiverse is one of the most mind-bending ideas in science. Some theories suggest that every decision you make branches off into a new reality. Others propose that entire universes can exist side by side, invisible to each other, with different laws of physics, different histories, or even different dimensions. But imagine, just for a second, that we could open a portal to one of them. What would it mean for science, society, and even our own lives? Let's explore what might happen if we could access the parallel universes that might exist just a few steps away from our own reality. Before we get into the wild possibilities, let's briefly touch on the science behind parallel universes. There are several theories that support the idea of multiple realities, some more plausible than others. One of the most famous is the many worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics. This theory suggests that every time a quantum event occurs, like you choosing one path over another, the universe splits, creating a new branch of reality. In essence, for every decision made, there's a version of you that chose differently. This could mean that an infinite number of parallel universes are constantly being created. Another theory is the multiverse hypothesis, which suggests that our universe might just be one of many, each with its own set of physical laws. These universes could exist in different dimensions or alongside ours, separated by dimensions we can't perceive. In this case, a portal might just be a way to connect with one of these alternate realities, but that's where the real mystery begins. Let's imagine that, through some incredible scientific breakthrough, we open a portal to one of these parallel universes. Perhaps it starts small, just a faint shimmer in the air, like a ripple in a pond, and as you step through, you find yourself in a world just like our own, but with slight differences. The first thing you'd notice? It feels eerily familiar, yet there's something off about it. Maybe you're in the same city, walking down the same street, but the people look just slightly different. Their mannerisms, their clothing, maybe even the way they talk, it's similar, but not quite the same. The air feels the same, the ground beneath your feet is just as solid, but you start to realize that everything around you has a subtle twist. This version of Earth has the same buildings, the same architecture, even the same trees, but things like colors, shapes, and the layout of everything are just a little different. It's a parallel universe, but it's not the world you know. Then, you encounter yourself, the person from the other universe. It's not a mirror image, though. This person looks like you, but they've led a different life. Maybe they made different choices, had different experiences. They could have a completely different personality or even a completely different life path. The deeper you look, the more strange and fascinating it gets. Would you be curious? Would you want to meet your alternate self, knowing that they might be living the life you always imagined for yourself? Or would it be unsettling, seeing yourself in a world that wasn't quite your own? Imagine sitting down with this version of you. You could ask them questions like, what happened in your life that made you who you are? Did you take different paths in your career or relationships? What does your world look like? How is it different from ours? Meeting your parallel self would open up a whole new world of questions. Would you try to swap places with them? What if they're living your dream life? What if their version of Earth is a utopia or a dystopia, and you're simply visiting for a while? If we could open a portal to a parallel universe, the implications for science and technology would be staggering. First of all, knowledge exchange would become a reality. Imagine bringing back scientific discoveries and technological advancements from an alternate reality. They might have solved energy problems, cured diseases, or developed technology beyond our wildest dreams. What could we learn from their universe? How much faster could we advance by skipping over the mistakes they've made? However, this could also create a host of challenges. What if you bring something back that doesn't belong in our universe? It could throw off the balance of things, physically, chemically, or even socially. Could diseases, chemicals, or advanced technologies wreak havoc on Earth? And what if interacting with alternate versions of our world began to influence our own reality? Even the smallest change could create a butterfly effect, rippling through time and space. It might start with something small, like a word, a movement, or a technology, but before long, you could find that the parallel universe has permanently altered your world. The timeline could shift, and the world you return to might not be the same as when you left it. As with all great power, opening a portal to another universe would come with serious ethical dilemmas. The moment we start interacting with alternate realities, we are bound to face questions of morality. Is it ethical to explore a world that's not our own? Should we interfere with the course of a parallel universe? Do we have the right to exploit their resources, technology, or knowledge? Could we harm them by revealing the existence of other worlds? There's also the risk of breaking the fabric of reality itself. If multiple universes exist, are they connected? What happens when one reality interacts with another? Could it cause catastrophic damage to the fabric of time and space? If this breach occurs, what would it mean for us and the other universes? Would we inadvertently collapse multiple dimensions? These questions would need to be answered, but we may never truly know the answers unless the portal is opened, and then, perhaps it's too late. Let's consider one last possibility. What happens if you open a portal and it doesn't lead to a parallel Earth? What if it takes you somewhere completely alien? We might open a portal to a universe with entirely different laws of physics, where gravity works differently, or where time flows in a non-linear way. A place where life isn't carbon-based, or maybe it doesn't even resemble life as we know it at all. The beings you meet there might not even communicate in ways we understand, and their reality could defy everything we think we know. But even this would open up new possibilities. Instead of simply looking for parallel versions of Earth, we could explore the limitless potential of reality itself, every world a unique chapter in the book of existence. Opening a portal to a parallel universe isn't just a what-if scenario for science fiction. It forces us to consider what reality really is. It's a thought experiment that challenges our perceptions of life, technology, and the very nature of our universe. If we could step into another reality, we would not just be walking into a new world. We'd be opening a window to infinite possibilities. Each step into the unknown could uncover new truths, new challenges, and new versions of ourselves. So, here's a question for you. If you could step through a portal to a parallel universe, what would you want to see? Would you seek out the perfect version of yourself? Or would you explore an entirely different reality? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into the most mind-bending what-ifs of the universe.